Pearl in the Morning with Tina Nzuki
Dunco. My name is Tina Nzuki.
My name is Dunco Atalaku, and we are live on www.pearlradio.co.ke. If you want to see how we look, unataka kuona kama tumejimwamwa kwenye studio tunakaa vizuri, tafadhali ingia kwenye mitandao and see us. Itakuwa mzuri sana. While at it as well, remember to use the hashtag PearlNamHesh. Where on Twitter, on Instagram, every time you tweet, retweet, or you are commenting on a picture, please make sure you use the hashtag PearlNamHesh.
It's a silly season. We're smack bang in the middle of it, and now we have something else we have to deal with, currently brought up by one Amos Kimunya, and this is of course the majority leader. Amos Kimunya went ahead to introduce into the House the Elections Amendment Bill 2022.
Yes.
But in studio with us this morning is the director of CMD, that is a Center for Multi-Party Democracy. This man has quite a bit of knowledge and can quickly analyze for us what we're looking at. Hi.
Hi, Tina.
Did I scare you?
Sometimes when a director is introduced, I go around looking for one.
Oh, come on, frankly. Karibu sana to Pearl.
I fellowship at a church called Friends Church.
Friends Church. Hey.
And simplicity is a value and a virtue for us.
Aha.
So my name is Frank.
Right, we have landed the baby. Now just
That's really cool.
That's really cool. Hey, Franklin, tell us a little bit about what you do at CMD, so that we can catch up with you quickly.
Sure.
Come right in.
I serve at the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, which is an organization for, of, and by political parties. Our work is threefold. One is promoting gender equality and social inclusion in political and electoral processes.
Okay.
Secondly is dialogue at various levels.
Right.
We believe that democracy begins with dialogue, and therefore we help political parties to build intra-party systems that enable participatory approaches to developing party positions, engaging their membership, so that it's just not a group of people, but a committed team of people that want to pursue particular objectives. The second level of dialogue is inter-party, because political parties have to talk to each other.
That's true.
Governing is a co-creation process. Governing is not a reserve for anyone, and bipartisanship in developed democracies is key. Thirdly is the multi-actor dialogue, which means that you must not even in a political party to influence decisions of a party. And therefore we encourage the media, the civil society, religious groups, and everyone else to engage with political parties from outside, inside. And that is basically to try and bring attention to the importance of politics, because politics is everything. The price of bread, the price of fertilizer, all these are affected. The traffic that held me this morning, it's all political decisions. And the senior most servant on planet Earth is actually a politician.
The senior most servant on earth.
Civil servant.
Is actually
civil servant. Senior most civil servant.
Yes.
All right.
Actually a politician.
Is actually a politician.
Yes.
The word democracy and the amendment, the election law amendment bill, same sentence. Can we hold them in the two? Do you feel that this sits well with that?
Yes, because we're discussing this legislation as if it's passed. It's just in the first reading.
But you can tell the panic among the people, no?
Yes, and because we are a country that is rife with serious deficit of mistrust, of trust, and that is our major problem. If you look at the import of this law, is basically to try to fix the issues that the Supreme Court came up with. One of them is the lack of 3G connectivity in sampling stations.
In sampling stations, yes.
And it's foolhardy for us to go to the elections with the same challenges that the Supreme Court highlighted in handling the elections on 8th. That was, I think, 1st September of 2017. And as much as there's been a delay in doing so, and therefore there's suspicion, but I think the political class would just want to pick up topics and challenge without facts. And the import of this bill is to fix the challenges that came about from the Supreme Court ruling.
Right.
So the second level is that IEBC has been in consultation with the Justice Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament of the National Assembly. And the committee then asked them to submit the necessary, adjustments to the law.
Yes.
And it's Parliament's role to legislate. Now, this has come to the floor of the House.
Right.
One of the suspicions is, why is it a government bill?
Correct.
But let's separate facts from fiction. This is an IEBC piece of legislation out of consultations. The import being the Supreme Court ruling, some decisions that needed adjustment of the law. Why the majority leader to present it?
Yeah.
Because to give, the committee sufficient time to interrogate it. Because the committee cannot interrogate its own bill. All right? Yeah. So, and number two is the majority leader's office has the latitude to fast track. And we must be very clear that this parliament has disappointed. This August House has disappointed.
You said it.
Yes, they have not been keen on progressive pieces of legislation. Right. You saw how the political parties amendment law was rushed through, and those are things that then.
I think that's what's making the Kenyan
breed mischief.
Exactly.
But if we allowed sober
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
to progress. When the bill comes for the second reading, it will have to go to the committee, of JLAC. People will have to be called. We make submissions to committee of the House every so often. And I don't think anyone wants to have a bad law. What we want is a conversation about what is a good law.
Franklin, in your opinion, why then are Kenyans so jittery about it?
It is because when you want to hide something from a Kenyan, then hide it where they have to read. Yes.
Where they have to really.
And I think we need to not listen to politicians as much. We need to go down, take the piece of the legislation, understand it, and be able to submit the appropriate memoranda. Because when you just told that this law is bad because the majority leader, who's the leader of government business in the House, is the one who's, who put it on the floor of the House.
Right.
Presented it basically.
Of course, questions arise, eyebrows are raised.
Yes,
exactly.
And it's, if you look at it, why the majority leader's route?
Right.
Number one is that is a sure route to try to fast track the law. So possibly Parliament is trying to catch up and rectify their own challenges. Secondly, if this law was to be proposed by the chair of Justice Legal Affairs Committee, Ricky Gano, he has to go back and again start interrogating his own work. So by the majority leader bringing the law, it gives the committee latitude and opportunity to fairly objectively interrogate the piece of legislation. So when we just tag it because it is Kimunya who's brought it, and say everything Kimunya and government is bad without looking at the proposal, and then the other thing that has really challenged me is what are the actual amendments?
So going clause by clause.
Wanted to ask that.
Yes.
What are the actual amendments? The most important one that we have to discuss is the issue of dealing with live streaming of results. I think that is a contentious
That's the
issue.
one. That's the one right there.
But in terms of a complementary system to identify voters, to transmit results, that is already provided in law. Right?
Right.
So there is no controversy around that. And if there is any offending provisions that have come with this amendment,
of course they'll be cited.
Then they will be discussed. There's an opportunity to deliberate on these things. So let's not deal with on face value, but look at the contents of this law and say, look, this is not a good provision. Like the one about live streaming, I think it's retrogressive, and I doubt it will see light of,
Do you think it has an argument when they say that we do have expensive equipment that needs to be put in use, and therefore we need to go ahead and make sure that this is there an argument? Does it even hold water?
Of not live streaming?
Yes.
I think the important thing about election is openness. Right, transparency. It's about the credibility, verifiability of the process,
right?
And the media contributes to that. So if you just say that Kenyans have to vote and go back and wait for the IEBC to make declaration, in any case, the media does not declare who has won.
They don't.
They are only relaying and updating what they are receiving.
All right.
So I don't think that even there is going to be debate there. you cannot block Kenyans from accessing information.
But not all Kenyans have that kind of access, true?
Yes.
So then what do we do in those areas where
Instances.
Kenyans don't have access to, and now rumors become rife? What do we do as a nation?
I think what we need to do as a nation is to stop hiding behind technology, to stop hiding behind, laws, and face each other straight in the eye, eyeball to eyeball, and say, look, we need to renovate our culture. We cannot rely. You see, you are cousins who are teachers and pastors in the village down there are the ones going to be presiding officers.
All right. This is
the people who rig elections are at the very lowest level.
That's true.
You don't start changing numbers at Bomas of Kenya. Those games are played. If you follow the the appeals, you will see that the ball is dropped at that very low level.
That's right.
So if we can have Kenyans with integrity and take election as a serious process that requires us to guard and respond to the law appropriately, then we will not be brewing this mistrust. We will not cure the mistrust through the law. We will not cure our mistrust through technology. Right? It will only help us. But we have to look at each other and say, look, people know who they voted for, and therefore when you're being called aside to fix results, when you are a party agent and you're colluding in these processes, you are the people creating the problem. So we have to renovate our culture as a people more than discussing the law, discussing technology. Let me tell you, Tina. Countries that give us this technology themselves don't actually use it. Not France. Countries like Denmark, people vote, and actually they volunteer. Elections are run by public servants. And the people volunteer to do the counting. When the tally is done, and people celebrate. And these are the countries we're relying on to supply us with the technology that they are not even using. It is because they have another technology called trust building.
Of course. That is not here.
And
that
we
is
have
neither
no
here
choice.
nor there, because when it comes to a nation like Kenya, really comparing us to Denmark, comparing us to France, when it comes to things like trust or public trust to the politicians, it is not there. And I think with time this has been has been damaged. It has been broken down by the politicians themselves, and now we're being brought back to a place where, to be honest, I don't think Kenyans want to be. Can this be fixed or not?
The issue of trust is not that even the Europeans trust their politicians. Right? It is that both the leaders and the led have due regard for the rule of law. That is the other problem this country has, that we have very little regard for the rule of law. All right. So when we are even doing these laws without regard for the court decisions, disobeying court orders, what are we doing? There is not much that we are looking at. So number one is we have to look at the trust deficit issue. Where is it emanating from? Is it at anniversary towers, the topmost level of IBC? I think not. Where does electoral malpractices happen? Is it at Bomas of Kenya? To a very small extent, possibly. Why are you engaging in voter bribery, for instance? You see from morning at 9 all the way to 4 p.m. People are not turning out to vote. But suddenly, the last hour, people are dashing to the polling station to vote because they have been waiting to be mobilized.
They have been motivated.
So how do we have even the moral integrity then to question even our members of parliament who have slept on the job for 5 years and doing it last minute?
Now, as he asks this question, you're listening to the voice of one Franklin Roosevelt Mukwanja, happens to be the director of CMD. But you have any questions for him? Call now 0701 969 969. Good morning, Yon Pearl.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. You guys are good?
We are.
Kabisa
Go
Joseph.
ahead.
Mko sambamba?
Itabidi.
Na hii maneno ya siasa ikuangi mzuri sana, lakini tunajipatanga tukiongea tu.
Naam.
Kenya is a political country.
It is.
We are always in politics. So one of the things I think these countries, where they beat these political things, and the politicians controlling us and reading on our behalf, making decisions that you don't understand, it's because we make a less concentration on them. Like some politicians out there, even how they earn less than people who work. We make a less focus on them. they are just people who are working, even on our eka. We vote, we go back and work. These are not people, like, you can see even artists, musicians who have gifts when they're in politics, not because they are going to serve, but because there's an opportunity to make more money faster than their industry. You see, because to make a more concentration on politics is like it's a quick fix way. It's a quick getting rich way.
Right.
You understand? So one of the things, because you have asked this question, how we can actually make less hour to control.
Right.
Let's put less focus on them.
Let's focus on them.
Let's put less focus on them.
Less focus.
Let's not focus on them.
Yeah.
Like empower industries.
Right.
Let wacha politics isikuwe kama a very big thing in our nation. You know, like the way you see like Canada huko nje, a prime minister mtu akanaendesha bike. Hata kwa street nobody cares. Hata kumsalimia. Hapa Kenya hebu hata mtu apite tu hata kama ni MCA. Karibu mfunge biashara.
Okay.
Because you have put so much focus on them. So I understand this guy what he's saying, but even as we are reading the law, we need to come to that position that we weaken our politicians. Let us see wanafanya tu kazi, and what this will make us do, they will be accountable. Tumewaandika kazi, that's the truth.
Okay.
Wow.
So I pray we come to that level of politics is not that position that everybody admires to become a politician.
Safi.
If we can lower their salaries, better. If we can lower their better.
Wow.
Make them weak.
All right. Thank you, Jose. Have yourself a great day.
You too, thanks.
We're talking about the amendment, the election law amendment bill.
Right.
That is only the first reading, and probably we can we're trying to look at it historically.
Yeah. So we're going to take a step back.
Step back.
Yeah. When
the shifting goalposts of the deputy president.
Correct.
He was the mastermind behind this initial proposer of the initial, and right now he's actually against it. What are your thoughts on this? Why do you think this is so?
So we're going to come back to that in just a little bit.
Yes.
Hashtag Palnam Hesh together with Tina Nzuki
Dunco Atalaku
and our guest
Franklin.
All right, Mokwanja.
Yes.
You know that name in Kao. Never mind. We shall just move on.
Actually, in Sheng it means money.
Yes.
A lot of money. Nataka mkwanja.
Praise the Lord. Amen. We thank you for being a partner of PAL. And as a partner of PAL, you can partner with that. We'll give you a pay bill as you leave. And, as the Lord says, Franklin, as you leave this place, leave your mark and your legacy. Shanda. Somebody say Shanda.
Hallelujah.
Yes. And that's what's going to happen. But this morning, we're talking serious stuff. And this guy is very soft-spoken, except when he's playing football. We know him.
So you're a soccer enthusiast.
Oh, yes. Very big.
Which team do you support, by the way?
Don't tell him. Don't tell him. This is where you're going to cry. Utalia.
I used to be an Arsenal fan.
Used to be?
Then what? Okay. Then you saw the light and
then happened that one of my sons didn't like them playing how they were playing. So he lobbied me that we support a different team.
Which one?
Can I guess?
No, don't.
So he supports Man City. I support Liverpool.
Okay.
You'll still get a release. Buenas everywhere. Hey. Your son is a smart child.
Yeah.
And
I know he's proud because both two of his players were playing in the AFCON finals.
Good stuff.
Down to serious matters now.
Yes.
You know, and we're coming off an audio.
Yes.
Of one deputy president back in 2017.
Right.
You know, advocating for what is actually being proposed right now. You know, the Election Amendment Act, amendment law, and the shifting of goalposts. Maybe we can play that audio again so that we can get context.
Okay, one more time.
Yes.
Tutabadilisha sheria kuhakikisha ya kwamba hakuna tena koti itapindua uamuzi wa wananchi bila ya kuhesabu kura ya wananchi. Haiwezekani. Wakati transmission inafanyikwa electronic, pia manual transmission inaendelea. Moja ikikosekana, ingine iko tayari.
Okay.
Why are the shifting goalposts now?
You know, Danko, I run a multi-party dialogue platform.
All right.
So I have learned to stomach the various shades of opinions.
Yes.
Having said that, politicians' problem, and I agree with Joseph.
Yes.
That we have an over, politicians are playing God in this country.
A lot.
They should be servants. But that is, I'll come back to that. Why I was pointing at that is because a politician's problem is just two.
Okay.
One is to get elected, and number two, your guess is as good as mine, is to get re-elected. In this arithmetic, there is no mwananchi, the ordinary folk is nowhere. It's about getting elected and getting re-elected. And the long and short of it, that's what the deputy president
seems to have touched a raw nerve with him.
Yes, that's what he's saying. When it suited him that time,
yes,
it was good to say that. Now that he's not, the positions have shifted, he'll say what is fashionable. But in between there, there seems not to be members of the public, the ordinary folk, interests. So what we need to look at as a country is, and I insist on these two principles. One is that we need to compel ourselves and each one to regard the rule of law very highly. That will be the beginning of renovating our political culture. Why are politicians playing God in this country? It's because we are in our African culture. We have come to understand a leader as a man or woman of means, must be generous. You know, you must donate in funerals. You must discharge mothers that have had babies as if the were involved.
Yes.
And good leaders are de-elected because they are not being social welfare dispensers the way the common man wants. The salary thing, there is no single politician who travels to their constituency and does not live between 100 to 200,000 shillings just in handouts. Try doing politics today, Tina. You come to those areas of ours in Machakos, the first question they will ask you, how does she have money? So the weakest link in our democratic development chain is the voter, the ordinary folk. Because when you want to see Kenya's problem of leadership, the leadership crisis that we have, the moral crisis that we have, go in the mirror, look for that problem, you will see it there. The ordinary folk must begin to change. It will be only bottom up. Top down is going to be difficult because the leaders are basically a reflection
of
who we are
as a society.
But
they are responding to our selfishness.
Frank, in all honesty, CMD does involve itself with a lot of conversations back and forth. Would you then say, have you set up forums for, let's say, the voter to be able to understand, number one, about this amendment, what we're talking about today, and how it's going to affect them, and or also what you spoke about, the leaders being a reflection of who we are. How well does the electorate, how well does Wanjiku see herself? And has this been told to her or him,
Actually, how well does Wanjiku know the law? Because you see, at the end of the day, it's do we even know the law? Because what you have said about the leader, and you hold forums at CMD, like the people, the festival that you're having in March. So how well can the Wanjiku understand the law? Where is the civic education?
This country has decent literacy levels, and I think we should stop. If there's education that we need, should be deliberate education about political education, and this has to be put through the system, the CBC, and we have to stop saying these are young people are too young to understand politics.
And we stop waiting till elections for it to start.
I think there's a reason to put political education as part of our academic syllabus. That's number one. Number two, this language of civic education, I don't buy into it.
Why?
I think we need to move to the next level,
which is
of civic action. And that is where we want
no more talk.
Yes, we want people to act on what they know. You know that there's red, green, and amber. What color is that?
Okay.
Why are you then crossing the road when it is red?
You have a generation that doesn't see red.
All right.
They see orange. You have a generation that doesn't see green. They see jungle green. My friend.
We need to demand action.
Right.
That people have to act on what they know.
But that's the thing. You're demanding action from a people or from a generation that does not know what they know. We have not passed down anything.
In fact, this generation does not have to hide anywhere because information is readily available. Computer didn't find me in school.
Yes.
Right? I didn't find a computer in school. I left when computer was not in school. These guys are using these gadgets. Information citizen journalism is increased. So there is no reason to say that there is not availability of information.
But their thoughts are being formed or informed by another influence, maybe the Western influence, and they try to bring that back here. It doesn't fit. Then chaos.
Not really. What we need to do as a country is make choices clearly.
Choices.
That look.
That's the word. Yeah.
Look, we need to have young people that are going to be voters in another 10 years. All right? We need, even if you look at even the history of Europe, if you are attending universities like Cambridge and such,
right,
you know, you would actually be given a double vote. So you are allowed to vote as, you know, an academia in the higher learning institution. And then you go back to your rural constituency and place another vote. That places a lot of emphasis on knowledgeable voters.
Knowledgeable.
All right? And we cannot just, you know, suddenly land on knowledgeable voters.
Okay.
We have to educate them. And that is one thing that is missing. When you have a policy that says there should not be politics in the higher learning institutions, and the only way you want younger people to engage in politics is by them electing their prefects. That is the tail end of things. But we really need to teach our young people what is a political party.
Okay.
What exactly should a political party do? What is a policy? What are all these things? So that when they're growing up and they have to vote, they are making a deliberate choice that, you know what, I am going to party A because I understand this is what they stand for in this regard.
Right.
They are conservative, they are socialist, they are liberal, etc. And this is who I am. I want to associate. Secondly, we cannot have a citizenry that only points fingers when the decisions go wrong. I think if I had an opportunity to sit in parliament today, I would bring a law to make it illegal not to vote.
You would bring a law to make it illegal?
Make it compulsory to vote.
Really?
Yes.
Civic duty?
Yes, because
I'm trying to figure out what that
yes, I liken it to paying taxes. You cannot run away from paying taxes in this country. And you cannot then pay taxes and then leave the decision of how those taxes are used.
People who don't care about politics. What do you do about them? Voter apathy?
In fact, we have to compel them to vote so that then when you are feeling that pain of, because if you don't vote, this is what my law will say. If you don't vote, then you will not enjoy some of these tax incentives.
Oh, really? Now we're...
Right?
Would that work?
Yeah, I'm just making proposals as a Kenyan, having been in the political space with the political parties and looking at Kenyans. Right now, they are Raila, Ruto, and all these alliances. Soon after they make the decision on 9th of August, the same Kenyans will be complaining as if someone else made that decision, another.
Yes.
And the loudest are the ones who are sleeping
on the morning when we went to queue
and enjoying Netflix and doing all that nonsense, and then complain of you know the bad road and then the guys who went to vote, you know, were basically waiting at 4:30 and to be told, now.
I'm not sure your law would fly, but when you spoke about, you know, the alliances, there's a Ruto camp, there's a Raila camp. What's your opinion about the alliances?
We have a bigger problem as a country, and the coalition politics have tried to sort that out. We have a problem of inclusivity. We have a problem of proper representation. We have challenges around marginalization, and coalitions have offered that opportunity for different shades of opinion and people and interests to be represented in the government. So alliance and coalition policy is good, other than the instability when they quarrel. But I think coming up with the legal framework to help them and respect each other and share the goodies from the political parties fund, that may sanitize a bit. But the bigger problem we have as a country is the debate we avoid always about our electoral system design. You cannot have a country that is very much rooted in ethnicity, combined with a masculine, domineering electoral system like first past the post. It is going to be difficult to meet the 2/3 gender threshold. And there is nowhere on earth where we have a democracy that has a combination of our cultural challenges with first past the post, and they have succeeded. Look at all the countries that are doing well. It is either proportional representation or mixed proportional representation. That allows even political parties to grow, because the party has to put up a list of very competent people that will convince voters to vote for the party, so that the people that they are proposed then become.
Does Kenya have ground conducive enough to adopt this? I
think we need to have that conversation. We avoided it. We have avoided it, even including the 2010
because now from review. Traditional roots, that most even today, the women, their place is where? In the kitchen. Being in the forefront has always made a lot of people frown.
The shift in the electoral system design would help sort out some of these things, because if you're allowing women to compete for 100 meters, but the 100-meter stretch is potholed, it has stones, it has all this,
and they're wearing high heels,
muddy puddles and high heels and all these things. Even if you're in flat shoes, it is just not possible that they will compete fairly. Women have a challenge of access, control over, and utilization of resources, and of particularly family resources. And our politics is expensive. So when we expose them to this very domineering, masculine, first past the post, very few will succeed. But if you have a proportionate representation, where you're coming up with a zebra list, you have Tina, you have Danko, you have Jen, you have Frank. At the end of the day, you will arrive at a good representation, because if the party got 20 slots, then 10 are women and 10 are men.
Hey Frank, I know we're coming to almost the end of the interview, but go ahead, Danko.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, so come August 9th, in the state that we're in right now, what do you think the political environment will look like for the future of elections, the future of coalitions, etc.? What is your premonition or your forecast?
I think we have to speak peace. Because this country loses a lot.
It does.
When we have a standoff arising from elections. Kenyans must come out, make choices, adhere to the rule of law. That means you vote and keep off the polling station, go follow the proceedings at home, and then go back to work the following day, and we wait for the results. I think peace is key, because if we again just out of COVID, out of the challenges of Jubilee running this economy in a very not interesting way, we cannot afford to lose another 1-2 years out of fighting. I think we have come of age. The Supreme Court is there. That does the presidential petitions. We have all these opportunities to be able to engage, and therefore I'll ask Kenyans that you win some, you lose some. At the end of the day, your neighbor has been a Luo, your neighbor has been a Kikuyu. That does not change with the decisions of 9th. The number of sufurias in your house for your ugali will not change.
And for
the size will not increase simply because you won or lost the election.
Hey, just to quickly nip this one in the bud, the opinion of MCAs, resigning if they want to be MPs or governors, IBS says, stay on. IBC says stay on. But Justin Muturi says, no. Out. We just need to get your opinion on that. Now we have two different, powers going at it.
Opinions are like armpits. Always two, stinging or not, they're yours. I think the speaker was sharing his opinion as a lawyer. there is nothing, the speaker holds no power at all in that regard.
Okay.
The people that hold the constitutional power have said stay on.
Yeah.
And lawyers will always disagree.
Yeah.
They will.
Chebukati is one. My former boss JB is another.
All right.
So the opinions are opinions, but we have to listen to the authority, and the authority in this case is IEBC.
All right.
If there is any lacuna in law, then the speaker heads the legislative arm of government.
All right.
Then he would have engaged in a kamkunjo or whatever it is, so that the legislators can be able to rectify whatever it is. But as it is, it's voluntary. If you want some time to run for a bigger seat or an alternative seat, that's fine. But you must not resign. And the law has been told to us by the authority.
Yeah. Would you consider vying?
As a husband, father.
This guy. Wait. What's your parting shot?
My parting shot is this. As a young Kenyan,
yes,
particularly speaking to young Kenyans, listen to the politicians, what they are saying, make a good choice, particularly at the lower level. The governor and the MCA that you get, there is nothing better that will happen to this country in the foreseeable future than devolution.
Ooh.
Make your very good choices for MCA and governor. All right? Begin with that. Interrogate. The MCA is that guy you stay with in the village every day.
Yes.
They do the small things that are required.
Correct.
They are the ones to oversight the governor who is getting resources from the center.
Right.
We don't need Nairobi when we have good devolution. Give us a good governor, back that governor up with a very good choice of a legislator.
MCA aspirant, governor aspirant, PAL Radio would like you to come here and let's sit down and have a discussion about you, because people have been questioning you.
That's right.
You want to run? We don't know who you are. How about you call that number 0768 030405. You got that? 0768 030405. Book your spot in the hot seat that has been warmed up now by the director CMD. And because you're going to be questioned, but the people want to know who are you.
Exactly. And it's so good. I actually appreciate what you've said.
Yeah.
Because if you get it right at Harambee Ward, we'll get it right at Makadara.
Yes.
And we'll get it right in Nairobi.
There you go.
But it's not the other way around.
It's not the other way around. So don't think up there, think down here.
Yes.
Because this is where the action is at.
Right.
And that's where the MCs are running, saying, come on, give me a chance. I'll be able to do. Your governor is saying, put me in place. But do you know who your governor or MCA should be? And also, you MCA, you governor aspirant, are you sure you're the man or the woman for the job? And who told you? We hold the voting card.
And
we have the vote.
And just finally, Tina and Danko, we cannot afford to have MCAs that didn't complete reading 16-page
You're supporting this?
Tom and Mary. you cannot read a budget statement that is 600 pages
long
when you didn't complete the smallest book of
right.
16 pages.
All right.
So this idea of MCS not having some qualification is very disturbing. We need to elect people that can read, understand,
life skills
and articulate issues.
Life skills are not nini.
It's good to have life skills.
Very good life skills.
Budget
like what?
So MCAs read. Amesema.
Elect well-educated MCS.
Well-educated.
Wow.
Because the average qualification of a governor is masters. The average qualification of CCs that these guys go vetting and interrogating are well-educated guys.
Right.
So the capacity in the executive arm of the devolved government is so high that the legislative wing becomes a joke. Because these ideas of I second, then you have not said anything, you say I third, this nonsense should stop. Get good MCS.
Oh, it's been a beautiful morning. Thank you so much.
I've had,
and even I thought oh man, Franklin, you are a wonderful guest. Thank you so much. We've really had fun hosting you.
Yes.
Would you mind coming back to just give us a bit more?
Please send the invite. I'll create time to. Next time I'll not be very late.
Yes, and you bring breakfast. This man doesn't know the rules of the of the what who's here.
The People Dialogue Festival.
Oh,
what's it about?
Nice. You know that thing?
Yes.
Yeah, the People Dialogue Festival is what I was describing as a multi-actor dialogue.
Yes. Yeah.
It is what you call a meeting of decision makers and decision takers.
Right.
This country is so stratified that you have the leaders on 13th floor and you have the rest of us on the
mezzanine.
Not even mezzanine.
Basement one.
So People Dialogue Festival serves to tear down the staircase. Yeah, the People Dialogue Festival is where you will run into Kalonzo Musyoka, William Ruto, Raila Odinga,
Dunco Atalaku.
Yes, with less security, walking around the museum over 3 days, having a conversation.
Okay.
That is the only place that will shift the rally, not politicians talking to the people, but the people talking to them and addressing issues. It's 3 days. It's 9th to 11th March.
Okay.
And we'll be there. We're introducing various aspects. One of the things that we're looking at is the Sustainable Development Goals to try inject ideas into our politics.
Okay.
Because if a political party does not have an agenda, just plug the SDGs and say these global goals are what we are standing for.
All right.
You know, no hunger, no poverty.
You're giving them more Kenya right now.
You know, and engage these things.
Engage these things. Okay.
So that people here, possibly William Ruto has horns and such things. You can see him there.
Yes.
Not in a rally.
Demystify the myths.
Yes, relaxed.
I
Tear
like
down
that.
the staircases, engage over 3 days.
And so the communications team at CMD are going to quickly bring us all that stuff right here. So we can quickly spread the word about it. Thank you.
So we can be a media partner.
All right.
We will talk about it.
Thank you. It's a done deal. Mkwanja, you have been absolutely awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Love it. Thank you so much.
All right.
Folks, that is how you quickly land the baby.
And of course, keep it Power Radio 96.9, the home of fresh and classic hits.
Join Tina Nzuki and Dunco on Pearl in the Morning.
Weekdays from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.